Weekend was, almost everything went exactly the way we wanted to. I think we had a great score. I think we hit all 24 routines. Don't know if there was another team that could say that. That's a good sign this early in the year. It may have been a record road opener. I think we got Haley back out there on one event, and likely are adding a second this week. KJ did hurt her ankle, but it was not as severe as we had feared at the time, and so it appears that that'll be a shorter setback than what we had anticipated. So lots of really good things happened. I think we took a good step forward. That's what I told him. I was proud of, again, the mindset and the approach and the ability to make it about themselves and their own performance, I think, was on display, and I think they did a really good job of that. And go on the floor with 3 other top 5 teams in the country, and so I think we showed very well that we are a team that's in contention. I have to remind fans again annually that wins and losses don't dictate a thing, other than the fact that we want to win them all, and we understand the desire to do that, and that is what we want to do. But we also have to understand that it doesn't determine our postseason at any level. Our seeding is going to be determined based on the scoring pattern that we have, and so far we're off to a really, really strong start in that way. And in our sport, as weird as it sounds, theoretically you could lose every single regular season meet and still win the national championship. And not seen that happen, but I've seen a team win only 2 and go on to win a national championship. So it's a kind of a strange way to think when you're used to wanting to see your team go undefeated and everything. But I believe that this team's done exactly what it needs to do.
Jay, what did you make of Haley's performance on beam? I know it's a low score for Haley Bryant, but just what did you make of her first performance back?
First meet, it was the first meet, and I think the whole team for about 5 minutes got a little tight over there. I'm not sure what happened, kind of in that middle part of beam. We got a little not bad. We didn't have a fall, just missed a couple connections and things that you don't normally see. So I didn't react to it. I'm not going to react to it. I mean, if we don't know, if Haley Bryant hasn't proven to us by now who she is and what and what she can be counted on to do, and if she hadn't proven it to herself, then we've got a problem. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to knee-jerk react to somebody having a minor error, especially somebody who's proven to us over and over again that she can be counted on.
Yeah, I guess how much of a benefit was it having that postseason feel? I guess this early in the season.
I'm gonna tell you what, ESPN does an amazing job of putting that thing on, and we were hopeful when this thing came out that we would be able to have it in New Orleans next year. I guess they ran into some hiccups with the Sports Commission and with the Superdome, and because of the potential for a Saints game the second weekend in January, I guess. And there's some crossover with staff, so I would like to. I'm going to hopefully reach out to anybody that I know over there and see if we can't get some movement, because it's a great event, and in New Orleans it would sell. We sold the SEC meet and had 12,000 people in there. I have no reason to believe that if that event came to New Orleans that it wouldn't be equally as big an event as the SEC championship, and I really would like to be able to get that meet here. But as it stands at the moment, we'll be going back to Salt Lake City, and it's a great meet, and it's something we want to continue to participate in, because ESPN does a fantastic job with securing the sponsorships and making the experience for the teams just first class all the way through. The arena looked fantastic. All the details. They had the walls in the back of the house wrapped with the logo. I mean, it felt like a championship competition, and so I think kudos to them as our TV partner. ESPN has done amazing things for us over the last 8-10 years to continue to raise the level of awareness of our sport. So I'm very appreciative of the event that they've put on.
That was kind of funny about the Saints maybe.
I didn't say anything.
It is a possibility.
Sure.
A lot of things are a possibility.
Sure, we're all pulling for them. I don't know why we can't be in the Smoothie King Arena even if they had a game on it.
So you're saying it still could happen, or you think it's
I think it's likely not going to happen
Likely
this
not.
year. I'm going to reach out and see if there's any hope of reviving the conversation before a final decision is made, but I don't. I think it likely is back in Salt Lake City, and then we've got to make adjustments to our schedule in order to be a part of it, because I had wanted us to be local that weekend, even if it wasn't in the PMAC, to be close enough that we weren't traveling.
Talking about the two young ladies you had here today, Kayla, obviously we've seen what she can do. She's looked very solid, very mature. But to have Lexi leading off 2 events, right? I mean, that's a lot of trust that you have to put into young gymnasts. Talk, if you would, both of them, but particularly about Lexi, you lead off you in those 2 spots.
Well, Lexi's tremendous, and then you just saw her when you talk to her. You can see the spirit and the drive and the pride that she has in being here and being part of this program, so we brought, as I mentioned to you guys in the preseason, we brought her along a little more slowly, just from a physical standpoint. She needed to get in a little healthier space, and the grind of pushing towards Olympic trials had taken a little toll on her, and we made some changes in her gymnastics, and we slowed her down, and she was frustrated by that, but she's bought into what we're trying to do, and I think her body's feeling good now. She's ready to go on all 4 events. It's not every event is the same in terms of whether you're going to be in that lineup, because it just depends on who else is in there, but in that mix. But she's ready to go on all 4, and if we had to put her out there, I know she'd do a great job on any event, and has shown that to us now. And so I think you see in her personality the kind of leader that she is going to be in both of them. Really, when you talk to them, you don't get the sense necessarily that you're talking to freshmen, and they have a maturity about them that's really encouraging as a coach. When you look down the road past this year, I think between the 2 of them and Kalia and Vic and Zoe and Connor and Amari, we're in a pretty good place.
With 2 meets under you guys' belt already, what are you looking to clean up heading into the Florida Friday?
Same stuff. We got to land a little better. We did land better, but we have to continue to see progress in that, and not get obsessed with it. There's a pace that I like to keep, and not every program sees things the same way on that. So I'm not going to overtrain something because we're trying to fix something overnight. It's a marathon, and so we're going to treat it like that. We're going to stay on our pace from a training perspective to the best of our ability, and not try to be perfect too soon. We want to be continually making improvement, stepping forward, methodically moving forward. Be a little bit of a, as far as just progress goes, just kind of plod. Don't make massive gains too quickly, because if you do that, you're probably training too much. In my opinion, at least for us, that's just the way it's going to go. So just continue to improve those landings. I thought we did a really good job of execution on the interior parts of the routines, with the exception of balance beam, where we had a couple little balance things that happened, but again, nothing glaring. And continue to be true to who we are and what works for us, and that is to just make it about us. It's not about who's on the floor with us. It's not about any of the external stuff that we know it's there, and sometimes it can creep in, and perhaps it did at moments in this last meet. We had that conversation with them yesterday, but just continue to try to make sure that we we stay true to the attributes that we espouse and that we believe in.
Ashley Cowan matched her career high on the bars. If you could just touch on, I guess, the consistency that she continues to bring on that event.
Yeah, it's really happy for her. I mean, Ashley Cowan is a really neat kid. We need to get her in here to talk to you guys more. There's a lot of layers to her, and she's a deep thinker, and she's got a maturity about the way that she does everything and the way she speaks and everything. She's a born leader, and she's a really integral part of our success in so many ways. And so she shows up on one event, and so she doesn't always get the attention maybe that she deserves, like so many others. But just really happy for her. She approached that thing it was a different confidence in her eye this week. So I have to learn with her. I have to learn to leave her alone. Similar to Connor, you gotta. Don't become a chatterbox with that kid before she goes. Just let her stay where she's at, and she just did a great job.
Do you see maybe a little bit more confidence in your team as a whole after having such good 2 weeks?
I do. I mean, unless they're fooling me, it feels like we did not have a great week of practice last week, and I wasn't thrilled about it at all, but I held my tongue on things that in the past I would have said more about because of exactly what you said. They so far they've not shown me a pattern of being erratic. They've shown me a pattern of being very confident and disciplined in their mind and everything. So I 56 years old, you still learn to get better at certain things, and so I tried to leave them alone, let them work through it, and I'm glad I did because they really showed up. Even when we got there for podium training, they were confident. It was just very matter of fact, very businesslike, and that's a comforting place to know you can be as a coach, even when we've got a lot of pieces that are still trying to get whole. Liv Dunn provides a lot of confidence for us, just the way she goes about her business. I know she would probably be disappointed with some of her scores. They weren't what she would like to have. I think of bars in particular, but the way she warms up, it's just automatic. Like there's no doubt. She goes up cold, does a cold routine every time, and it's fine. And there's value to that because what it does is it just calms everyone else and keeps everybody in a good place. And there's a lot of them that are that way. Ashley Cowan's another one that just will do a cold set, and she's that confident to be able to do it. So they are operating at a very high level of confidence right now. That doesn't mean that things can't get sideways, but it means that in general, they're going to be in a good place.
I feel like Chase Brock is another one that doesn't get enough positive attention, but she killed it last weekend.
Yeah.
Just what have you seen from her and her veteran presence and just being such a great athlete for you guys?
Yeah, Chase is special. She's a special talent physically. I think the only thing in the past that ever held her back was her belief system, in terms of what she believed about her ability to be consistently successful. She's doing a 1.5 on ball and a full out on floor, both of which, when she got here, she had not competed since maybe she was 11 or 12 years old. And probably had convinced herself that she would not ever be able to compete them again. But she has worked herself to a place to where she's growing in her confidence with it still, but she's been in a really good place, and I've been really proud of the way that she has attacked those two things. And there's been days when she gets frustrated, but the difference now is that I think she has a belief that she can be consistently successful with those bigger skills. And so even when she has those bad days, it's not devastating, and it's not sending her into a protracted sort of slump, if you will. She's able to handle it and bounce back pretty quickly, and just has really done a great job so far. Brad, you got something?
How did Haley feel after doing the one event, doing bars, and what do you need to see? You said probably on the floor. I take likely. I don't put words in your mouth. So
Yeah.
what do you have to see from her this week, and what, is there a timeline on getting KJ back or like this?
The first part of that is Haley, I didn't really talk to Haley about it after the meeting. I mean, I think she's fine. I mean, she had one little thing where she broke a connection and affected her start value, but the meat of the routine was flawless. I mean, most of it, and right down to the landing on the dismount. So there was no need to really have much of a conversation with her. Yesterday we tested the arm on the front handspring on the floor. She'd been doing everything on floor with the exception of the front handspring into the double front. So we've been doing full routines with a running double front without the front handspring ahead of it and everything else in the routine. So she's ready. She tested it on the front handspring yesterday. It felt fine. Today is our floor day. We'll see how that goes. I anticipate it going well. So far there's been, zero reason for concern in terms of a setback. After floor gets added, that's when it gets a little more tricky. Like when do we think about adding Bolton bars and in what order, and what really is going to tax the elbow, if anything. We'll have to be very careful because I don't know how long that'll take to get all four of them back. We anticipate getting there, but I just don't know how long. As far as KJ goes, when she turned that, we were not going to use her on floor last weekend, but we were getting her ready to go for this weekend. She could have done a routine last weekend. She's been doing full sets again, and she tumbled lights out on podium training, and I'm sitting there going, maybe we ought to use her. But at the end of that workout, literally one of the last things we were doing, she was doing a dance through and just on her leap series, turned that left foot on her, which she has a history of doing that. If you recall, that we broke that bone in her foot, it's the same foot, and it's always been a little bit had prone to turning from time to time. And so one of her leaps, it's a turning leap, and when she punched it, just kind of, I saw it go. I was 3 feet from it. I saw her turn it under. But initially it was very painful for her, and she feared the worst, and we went and got some images, and everything looked pretty good, and as far as swelling and discoloration, it was there, but the swelling has subsided, the discoloration is fairly minimal. She feels better than she thought she would. She's walking around. We got her on the Ultra G treadmill and got her moving yesterday, and so as far as a timeline, I can't tell you. It'll probably be dictated by her level of comfort. We do have to get a little bit of strengthening going and let that thing heal some. But it's going to be a little while. But I don't think it's a season-ending kind of situation. Yeah, she could have gone Saturday. She had that. She kicked out of a dismount middle of the week and did what I call, she kind of suitcased a landing, where she broke out halfway through her dismount on bars and kind of landed on her heels and kind of whiplashed forward a little bit. So it just made her back stiff for a couple of days. She wasn't going, arching or flexion or extension in her back was just